Welcome to a new video of AP Calc. As usual, we're going to be seeing how to solve when the limit has x approaching infinity. Alright, so we're going to go over the homework as usual. So, first problem is limit approaches x approaches infinity of the equation x squared minus 8x plus 17. When you have an x value with no fractions or anything, you could just plug in this number right here into the x with the highest exponent. It's going to be infinity as we know it. So this would be infinity as your answer. Number 2, today might be easy, hopefully. Limit as x approaches negative infinity. Be mindful if it's infinity or negative infinity. 3x squared over x squared plus 9. So, right here we have a rational equation, which means we have it as a fraction, but we just want to look at the highest exponents. So, realistically, we are just going to write negative 3x squared over x squared, which is going to give us negative 3. That is it. Number 3, we have lim as x approaches infinity of the equation negative x squared over 3x squared plus 1. So from here you are going to see that these have the highest exponent, so we're going to rewrite it just as x squared over 3x squared. These cancel out, so you basically have, actually I wrote the problem wrong. So this right here is actually supposed to be a 3. So we rewrite it. It's going to be negative x3 over 3x squared. We know that that this is obviously too much for it. So well, actually, sorry, let me backtrack. These are going to cancel out, but so then it's just gonna be negative x, I think. Am I looking at this problem wrong? Okay, so you plug that in, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, okay. So you just see this, and okay, so I forgot that for this, we're not even counting the coefficient. So we're literally just looking at it like this, which is gonna be negative x. And we just plug in this number. So we're gonna get negative infinity. Sorry, it took me a while. I kind of forgot. We're on to number 4. So then number 4 is lim of x as it approaches negative infinity of x to the power of 4 over 2x squared plus 1. So we're just going to rewrite it as x to the power of 4 over x squared, which is equal to x squared, since 4 minus 2 is it's going to be left over 2. Then you plug in this, but since it's negative and a negative, it's going to be a positive infinity. So from here, we are going to go on to number 5, just like that. Number 5, alright, so this is where it starts getting a little bit harder because of the square roots. I forgot to write the limit. The limit as x approaches negative infinity My handwriting is terrible as always. 4x plus 1 over square root of 3x squared plus 4. Okay, so from here you are going to... So from here we learned in class that you're going to get the square root. So we're just going to look at the x and its exponent. So we see that we have the square root of x squared, but we are going to rewrite it as like this. So then we ask ourselves, what is the square root of this? Well, we know the square root of 1. We can rewrite it as this. We know that the square root of 1 is 1, and we know the square root of x squared is equal to x. So this went from a positive, from an even exponent to an odd. This is a 1 basically, and we know that when it goes from even to odd, when it goes from an even to odd number, we plug in negative right here. So you're gonna multiply it, the bottom, by square root of 1 over x squared over 1 over x. So from here, negative, I almost forgot that. So then we are gonna multiply. So we can start with the top, negative 4x over x, and then negative 1 over x, and then the bottom would be the square root of 3x squared over x squared plus 4x squared. So from here we could rewrite it as negative 4 minus 1 over x, and then the x squared is cancelled, so then it's going to be square root of 3 and then plus 4x squared. Now from here we see that in the rules that we have, whenever an x is in the denominator, it is equal to 0. So this just goes away, this goes away. So then in the end, we have negative 4 times, over the square root of 3. But we don't want a square root in the denominator, and we never want that. So we multiply top and bottom by square root 3, and we get we get 3 over, sorry, 3 under negative 4 times the square root of 3, which is our answer. Number 6. Number 6, we have the limit as x approaches infinity, and we have square root of 2x squared plus 1 over x plus 2. So this is a positive. Actually, it is supposed to be a negative in the homework, so it's a negative infinity. So we are going to write a big square root 1 over x squared, which is also equal to 1 over x, and it moves from positive to, from an even to an odd, so we are going to multiply it by, so since the square root is on top, we're going to do this, we're going to multiply by the square root on top, and then we are going to multiply 1 over x. So then this is going to be negative, as you remember, because we have a negative right there, and this goes from an even to an odd. So we're going to multiply, so square roots, so it's going to be 2x squared over x squared plus 1 over x squared over, it's part of the square root, over negative x over x plus 2 over x. So we know that these two cross out, is going to be square root of 2 plus 1 over x squared over negative 1 plus 2x. So it's basically 1 right here. They cross out, it's going to be negative 1 over 1. So now we know that when we have an x in the denominator, it's going to be equal to 0. So this counts as 0, this counts as 0. So then we're going to have square root of 2 over negative 1. And then we check the worksheet for number 6. Oh yeah, this is basically the same thing. So this turns into negative square root 2. Yeah, sorry, I almost forgot about that. So on to number 7. We have the limit as x approaches negative infinity. Square root 4x squared plus 1 over 4x plus 1. So we have a negative infinity, so keep in mind. So you're going to write square root of 1 over 4x squared, which is also equal to 1 over 2x. Yeah, because the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of x is x. So, if you don't believe me, 2x times 2x, that's going to give you 4x squared. So that's the square root of it. So we are going to multiply by the square root of 1 over 4x squared over 1 over 2x. And this is a negative because it goes from a even number to a odd number. And because it's negative infinity. So we're going to multiply. We're going to get 4x squared over 4x squared. We're going to put the square root plus 1 over 4x squared over negative 4x over 2x minus, that would be minus 1 over 2x. So we know this turns into 0. We know this turns into 0. So now, and all of this crosses out as to 1. So it would be square root of 1 over, and then the x's cross out. Negative 4 over 2 is just negative 2. So then our answer should be, oh, and then square root of square root 1 is just 1 over, and then the whole thing could just turn into negative half, which is our answer. Number 8, which we are halfway. Number 8, we have 2x plus 2 over 4x squared plus 2 square root. Let me write the limit. Limit as x up. I know this looks really bad. Sorry. As x approaches negative infinity. So then we are going to multiply. So we have this big square root 1 over 4x squared, which is also equal to 1 over 2x again. So, but this is going to be a negative, so we're going to multiply, and we're going to multiply since the square root's on the bottom, 1 over 4x squared under negative half x, basically. 1 over 2x, actually. So we're going to multiply it, so then it's going to be 2x over 2x, and then that's going to be negative 2 over 2x over square roots of 4x. 4x squared over 4x squared plus 2 over 4x squared. So, whenever we have a denominator at the bottom of x, so whenever we have x in the denominator, this turns into 0, that turns into 0, and then these cancel out, so then it is going to be 2, sorry, not 2, 2 over 2 is 1, 1 over the square root of 1, which is the same thing as 1, sorry, 1 over 1, which is 1. On to number 9. Number 9 is the limit as x approaches infinity. So we do not have a negative, so we don't have to keep in mind of that for now. So instead, the entire thing square root. I have not done this yet, so we're gonna go over this together. So let's see. Um, okay, I already see a way we could solve this, but I'm not sure if we would be right. So for number 9, it's gonna be square root 3. So what I'm already thinking of is that since the whole thing is square root, it basically means that this top is square root and this top is square root. So you remember that rule of actually I just remembered. So we just want to look at we just want to look at the exponents. So we have square root of 3x squared over x squared. So then this is the same thing. So these two cancel out, be the square root of 3. That's it. I was overthinking this. That's the answer. So moving on to number 10. Scary looking problem, but it was easy. Hopefully, maybe I was right. X goes on to negative infinity. And then we have square root of 4x squared plus 1 over 2x. Okay. I'm just checking out something else. Da, da. Okay. You could skip this if I don't talk for a while. I'm just looking at something. Number 16. I'm looking at number 16. See if. Okay, no, yeah, that still works. Okay. Seeing if my explanation was right, I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. So then, this is the same thing as a square root of 1 over 4x squared, which is the same thing as 1 over 2x. So we're going to multiply. Let me see if I even wrote that right for number 10. Yes, I did. So then we're going to multiply square root of 1 over 4x squared times, oh, and it's negative. And it goes from a positive, an even to an odd. So this is going to be negative. So it's going to be negative 1 over 2x, which is going to be equal to 4x squared over 4x squared. And then plus 1 over 4x squared, square root of this, over negative 2x over 2x. So this right here turns into 0. This becomes 1. So then let me rewrite it. So square root of 4. Actually, you already know those. That cancels out. 4 over 4. Then negative 1. Because 2x over 2x is 1. And that's negatives. And then square root of 1 over negative 1. And then that should be negative 1, if I'm not mistaken. For number 10, yes, that is correct. Number 11. For number 11, we have the limit as x approaches infinity, so we don't have to worry about it being negative. So we have square root of x squared plus 4, and then 4x minus 2. So then from here, we get the square roots. So we just sorry, I kind of lost track of how to do this. So then you're gonna get square root of 1 over x squared, which is also equal to 1 over x. And we don't need to worry about anything being negative. So then we're gonna multiply this, and then we're gonna do 1 over x squared over 1 over x, which is equal to x squared over x squared plus 4 over x squared, square root of it, over 4x over x minus 2 over x. So then this is 4 over x squared. This goes to 0. That goes to 0. So then, and this turns into 1, and this turns into 4. So then it's going to be square root of 1 over 4, which is just 1 over 4 for number 11. Let's check, which is correct. We're almost done. We just need 5 more problems. 12. So for number 12, I know this one looks a bit complicated, but it's almost the same thing as the other one. So we have the cube root of 4x squared over 4x squared plus 3 and then plus 1. So from here, we just see that we have the 4x squared and the 4x squared is the same. So we just get the cube root. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. Alright, let's get back into this. So we have 4x squared. This becomes cube root of 1, which is obviously 1. And if we look at our answer sheet, number 12, yes, it's 1. So, moving on. We have, sorry, this thing's glitching. Moving on, we have number 13, which is a limit as x approaches infinity, square root of x squared plus 4x minus 2. So, square root of 1 over x squared, which is equal to 1 over x. It's a positive, so we don't gotta worry about nothing. Actually, I am doing the complete wrong problem. I just realized that. Okay, actually, let me write that. Perfect. Okay. Going back to number 13. 13 is 2x minus 3 over square root of 2x squared plus 1. As x approaches the limit of as x approaches negative infinity. So we are going to do square root of 1 over 2x squared. Okay. Here we have a bit of a struggle. When I mean a bit, it's so actually I don't think, okay, I don't know why I keep doing that. I don't think, yeah. No, you do. Do you? Hold up, I even lost myself doing this. Sorry, you're not even supposed to, yeah, you're not even you're not even supposed to look at at the the coefficient. I keep forgetting that. So the other ones I did the coefficient. I don't think it really mattered if we got the same answer. So this turns into 1 over x. So then we are going to delete this. So then multiply by square root of 1 over x squared over 1 over x. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, so then we're gonna have 2x over x minus 3 over x over square root of 2x squared over x squared plus 1 over x squared. We obviously, these would be 0. This would become 2. And then this would become 1. So we then have 1 over the square root of 2 You multiply top and bottom by square root of 2, so then it's going to be 2 over square root of 2, if I'm not mistaken, for number 13. Number 13, oh, actually, oh, that's what I forgot. I forgot to put negative, so this would also be negative, which means, so, since this would be negative, this would turn into negative, which means we would have negative 2 over square root of 2, which then means we have, let's see if I did this right. Then we multiply top and bottom, so then it would be equal to oh yeah, okay, see, that's what I did wrong. Over 2, those cancel out, so then it would be equal to negative square root 2. So then for number 14, we are going to have, number 14, we are going to have the limit as x approaches infinity of square roots of x squared plus 4 and 3x squared plus 3. So we just look at the exponents, square root of x squared over 3x squared, which is the same thing as square root of 1 over 3, because those cancel out. So then that would be equal to square root of 1 over square root of 3. That would be equal to 1 over square root of 3. We do not want it, so we multiply top and bottom by square root of 3, square root of 3 over 3, which is our answer. Number 15, we have the limit as x approaches infinity. X approaches negative infinity, actually. We have square root of 4x squared plus 3 over 2x minus 3. So we know square root of 1 over 4x squared is the same thing. Oh wait, we don't need to write the 4, so let's see if we get the same answer. 1 over x squared, which you're then gonna get 1 over x. Let's see if we get the same answer. So then you're gonna multiply this by 1 over x squared, 1 over x. This becomes negative. So then we write 4x squared over x squared plus 3 over x squared, square root of it, and then negative 2 over 2x over x plus 3 over x. This becomes 0, 0. These two cross out. These two cross out. So then we are going to have square root of 4 over negative 2. And that's going to become 4 over negative 2. Sorry. It's going to be 2 over negative 2, which is equal to negative 1. For number 15, we get exactly that. So, moving on. Yeah, I don't think it would really matter if we wrote the, let me see if it would. Um, actually no, it would, I think. Yeah, it would. Yes, it would indeed. Yes, it would matter. So 16, our last one. Limit as x approaches infinity. Cube root of 2x squared plus 2 over 2x squared plus 3, which is equal to the cube root of 2x squared over 2x squared, which is equal to obviously 1. cube root of 1 is equal to 1, which should be our answer. Yep. And that's it for this video. Thank you. And if you have any questions, just comment, and I'll reply as soon as possible.